you talk a little bit about the tax situation with properties? Obviously, we've been the epicenter of foreclosures, and with that revenue loss, could you expound a little bit upon some of the areas where you'd like to? Are there any potential new streams of revenue that you see that you could tap into in the future?
As far as to understand the tax collector's office, our office is different than most constitutional. If we don't collect any money, we don't get paid. That office is based on statute, and every line on that tax bill generates revenue for the office. Every sticker or decal that goes out projects about 50 cents to the office. We're very fortunate. Over the years, the tax collector's office is probably the only constitutional office that returned money at the end of the year, and a lot of it, because of how our budget has shrunk. But our fees that we collect are pretty much the same. So out of a $13.5 million budget this previous year, we returned almost $11 million to all the taxing authorities in Lee County. During the high tax year where the assessed value was high, those excess fees reached $22 to $25 million that's returned to the county. We return more money than our total budget. So and as the property values decline, those return and fees drop. But as you can see now, they're going to increase. They're beginning to kick back up a little bit, and I think that's important. But there's so many other things. You know, as we looked at the state and driver's license was attacked because we felt we're the best person to do driver's license. We got 6 locations. Previously, you only had 2 max for the state, and as you probably know, the lines were wrapped around the building and people in the heat. So we said this is the best thing for us to do and cross-train our people, and we will continue to do that.
Yeah, growing up, you had to go down there to Page Field, and you got lucky if you get your car in there.
You got it right.
That's
You're
right.
That's right.
Do you see yourself as a tax collector as being active in trying to get legislation, much like property appraiser Ken Wilkinson, or much like the actions of some others? Do you see yourself involved in changing the law in some way or the other, or do you see any areas where changes in the law could benefit this community and where you could be effective at advocating for changes?
I've always advocated for change. I would tell you that I'm in Tallahassee every year. I would tell you that not only do I've been fortunate to be a part of the Florida Tax Collectors Association and served on their legislative committee. I also serve on the Florida Tax Collectors Association Public Information Coalition to get information out statewide. We have just went over some changes to the tax statute as far as advertising and making sure that we have enough time to do advertising before sale and things like that on the property value. When I go to Tallahassee, I'm an advocate for Southwest Florida. When I'm in Tallahassee, I'm going to advocate when I hear that they're cutting funds to substance abuse and mental health. I'm going to be an advocate for that. I'm an advocate for the Florida Tax Collectors Association. That's not new to me. I've been doing it for years. Every year I've spent time in Tallahassee. I work with Florida Partners in Crisis as well. So Tallahassee, to me, I think I have a responsibility to do that. Nothing new. I know how to get to the boardroom and to the bathroom in the Capitol. So I don't have any problems going to Tallahassee and speaking on various issues. And I've been doing it for a long time. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to change. That's personal with me. Because when you know that the community needs, we have to. When we look at changes that are going to impact the citizens of Lee County, they better rest assured that Larry Hart's going to be in Tallahassee saying no.
You know, there have been proposals in the legislature to lower non-homesteaded property rates even more than they are. I think in 2008 it went down to 10%. There have been proposals to have it down to 5% or 3%, and which could have an impact in the taxes that are collected by the counties. From the local perspective, what are some of the things, perhaps the pearls of wisdom you could offer legislators to not harm counties? Because we've heard a lot about unfunded mandates, we've heard a lot about these tax impacts, which are very popular to lower people's taxes, but it ultimately impacts you and the taxpayer locally, doesn't it?
It doesn't impact me because my deal is simply collecting. The property appraiser is the one that sets those values. But I can answer that question. I think we need to adjust our priorities. And I think all of us at some point in time can tighten our budgets a little bit. We know that at some point, the budget's not going to be able to be tightened anymore. So we need to make sure we can tighten what we can, and we need to make sure we're in partnership with the state and making sure that when these mandates are coming down, we need a seat at the table. And we really need to be advocates for a change and making sure we have that seat at the table when they're portraying something that's going to have a major impact. And oftentimes we fail to do that. We talk about it, but we don't go up and we don't express our view to make sure we've identified the harm that this particular legislation would do to our community.
We have about 5 minutes left of the interview with Mr. Hart. Any questions from board members?
No, I don't
Do you expect to be as active in the roles that you have, continue as chairman of the board of the Florida Gulf Coast University Board of Trustees and other boards that you're on if you're elected to this position?
No, I will continue to be an advocate for Florida Gulf Coast University. I cannot continue on the board of trustees. It is considered a dual office. I will have to submit my resignation to the governor's office for the board of trustees. However, I do plan to continue to work in education there. I plan to shift my, if they allow me, over to the University Foundation so I can continue to help the university in the way that's necessary.
Any final thoughts?
My final thoughts is born and raised in Fort Myers. Graduated from high school, Riverdale High School, 1973. Served my country in the United States Air Force. I did 22 years as a police chief and 22 years in law enforcement and 6 years as police chief. Now I've done almost 11 years as assistant tax collector. I think I have the proven leadership, and I think you know that based about how many people in this race. Have I done something, or the office has been such a problem that the community's in an uproar? I think I have those leadership skills. I know I can lead this office. And with the opportunity, we can move even further and we can move even faster. And that's my goal, making sure that this journey is a journey to excellence and bringing the Florida Sterling process to the Lee County Tax Collector's Office. And that's my goal, and it's going to happen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.